Welcome to another video. In this one, we're going to take a second look at my Super Nintendo boxed games and one other boxed item, which was a recent purchase in 4K, 30 frames per second. So, wanted to do this since I have the option to do it with this phone camera. Show the boxes in all their glory. I can even do 8K now. But I'm not going to do that just yet. Upload videos in 4K. So the first sealed box Super Nintendo game we have here is the F-Zero Player's Choice Edition Million Seller. The race of the 26th century. And there we have it. The back with screenshots. So the year is 2560. Welcome to mode 7 in the year 2560. Very interesting way to advertise the game, or talk it up rather. Select from 4 individual F-Zero racers, 3 difficulty levels, each with 5 courses, Grand Prix and practice modes, battery backed memory save for save your records. And this originally came out in 1991, I believe, in America. And there's the side. I think the other side is the same. Yeah, kinda. And the front, which I've never really shown the different sides of this box. Then there's the bottom. I think it has all the different races on the corners, which is really cool. And the N64 boxes were very interesting too, and I'll show those in 4K too eventually. But yeah, fantastic racing game. I do have a loose copy of this, and have the game on flash card as well, and it comes with the hanger tag. I don't think any other copies of my box games come with the hanger tags. Some of my Genesis games do come with the Willy Winky, or not Willy Winky, store or shelf tag, whatever, or hanger clip. And these are still available. Brand new. Factory sealed. I don't think this is a reseal either. Because it has the H seam there, or the seam. And I got it for a great price too back when I bought it. Before the huge spike in, or before the, before COVID and before the price hikes, or extreme price hikes, and the huge surge in, in retro video games happened, and that started really ramping up during COVID because people were stuck at home, had nothing to do. They thought, oh, I'll buy a Super Nintendo and some games, or a Saturn, or Genesis, or Intellivision, or Atari, or what have you. So here we have Jungle Strike, the sequel to Desert Strike, which I do own that. Excuse me, I own Desert Strike on the Genesis, but played a lot of this and Desert Strike on the Super Nintendo. Rented it from Blockbuster back in the day. Played it, really enjoyed it. So you get control 4 new combat vehicles, or different combat vehicles. We got the helicopter, a motorcycle, a B-2 bomber type jet, and a watercraft. Haven't gotten that far to play the different crafts, just the original. Okay, all these images are the same on these different sides. Different colors, kind of, they pop. Yeah, this game is by Electronic Arts. I really wish they would acknowledge their legacy games, their retro games, and put them out in a collection, like the Jungle Strike collection, or 16-bit game collection with, Road Rash 2. Road Rash 1 is on the original Sega Genesis Mini, so I'm glad they put that on there. They decided to allow that, or acknowledge that. Yeah, in this game you're picking up, rescuing people from deserts and from the desert. I'm sorry, jungle, rescuing hostages, shooting down satellites and enemies, and different types of buildings. Very fun game. Really, this is very much worth playing even still today. I mean, the graphics are 90s. It's going to be 16-bit. Just expect that. It's not going to be HD. Anything close to that. I would say these games were popular, obviously because that's all we had at the time. Because of the gameplay. I think kids today look at all the flashy effects in games and motion. There's a lot going on, and then there's these these humongous sandbox games and huge maps to explore and destroy things. Everything on a map can be destroyed, in a game now, or every moving thing or building. It wasn't like that back then. Things were different. Games had more substance to them. Some had a storyline, which this does, and so does Desert Strike. Yeah, Desert Strike still sealed. And again, I'm pretty sure this is not a reseal, because the box is just in pristine condition. I'm not sure where it came from, but I did buy it on Amazon as well, I believe. Then a Nintendo made game, A Link to the Past. I had this game originally boxed back in the day. Excuse me. And, loved it, played it a lot. And in about 2011, I think I picked up this copy. It didn't have the map, so I bought the map. Probably for about the price I paid for this game alone in the box. Just, $50 for the map or something. It was crazy, but I wanted to have it. And the map had never been opened according to the seller. So we'll show... Well, that's a little crushed. I'll never forget, at the store I bought it from, the girl, when she went to give me the, this box and the game inside of it, she went, oh, like what happens when you beat you get a new item in this game or whatnot. I said, oh, you know about this game? She said, yeah, I played it when I was a kid. And I think we talked just for a minute and left the store, and I was so glad to have picked this up. I'm still glad to own it. I have the original receipt inside this box. But yeah, Link to the Past. Everyone knows about this game. If you don't, check it out. It's on the Switch Online service and the Super Nintendo selection of games. It's also on the Game Boy Advance. You can play it on Wii, Wii U. I think Wii U. I'm not entirely sure, but I know it was on the Wii eShop. And there's you can play this on so many different game consoles. On the Anbernix, that this game is on there in some form or another. Yeah, just many different ways to play these days on the Mister. Anyways, I'm not going to show the inside of this. This is just strictly boxes. I've shown it before. Here's the screenshots. I think that's accurate to what was in the game. Let's see here. Yeah, the colors of the enemies is just right and everything. Oh, that's right. One second. I also have Super Famicom game. I always forget that I still have it because it's tucked away. I'll just show it because it's technically Super Nintendo in a way. I'll show that at the end. So, but yeah, Zelda: A Link to the Past, one of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. Now, I don't play it as much as I used to, and I did think about playing it earlier today, and I'll more than likely do that. And I was looking to get a Super Mario World box back when I was getting all these games boxed. And the price was just crazy. I think it was maybe a year or two after I bought these boxes, I finally thought, oh, I do need Super Mario World and Super Mario Kart, but to buy them in really good condition was just going to be a crazy price. And I paid a good penny for this box, which has always been empty since I own it or received it. Super Metroid. It's in pretty good shape. I mean, a little worn around the edges, but also played this game as, you know, a kid. I love the hell out of it. Still enjoy it to this day. I think all the first party Nintendo games I'm showing here are on the Switch Online service, if you have that, which the games are emulated just perfect, you know. In some cases they look better than the originals. You have save states on those on every game. You can save at any time and then load in that particular save state at any time as well. And rewind features and everything, I've talked about it before, but this game originally came out in 1994, and I remember sitting on the intro screen and listening to the music, watching every little cutscene. I mean, there's not a whole bunch of cutscenes in this game, but a few. There's the bottom of the box, the top only for Super Nintendo. I mean, at the time, of course. This did come out on the Wii and all that stuff, you know, the modern Nintendo consoles. I can't really show much of the sides because they're folded in, but it's pretty much the same, almost the same as what's on the top. Then you have screenshots, of course, of the game. Those are all accurate. They actually were on the game. In some cases, they showed screenshots first in the magazines of scenes in the games that just did not end up in the final versions of some games. I don't remember what they are, but 24 megs of action in this largest Super NES game ever up until that point. I think the biggest game was like Super or Street Fighter 2 Turbo or something. I think it was 30 megs or something, 40 megs. 6 huge areas to explore. I mean, it's easy to get lost in this game too, and I will continue doing my gameplay footage of this game. I think I had started it. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to go back and look on my Josh Plays 87 gameplay channel. I'm going to continue doing videos for those. I have 2 ready to upload right now as we speak. Moving along, a more recent purchase. A Super NES controller. It's not the 101 model. It's the exact model you see here. The newer model has the Super Nintendo logo engraved into it, and a lot of people say those were made better, at least the guys at My Life in Gaming, and they show one, and I almost got one. I thought, no, I know 3 controllers is enough, plus the 8-bit-do SNES controllers I have, and yeah, it's just enough. 5 or 6 NES controllers is really enough, and that's what I own. Here's the back. Features 8 easy-to-reach buttons and a controller designed to fit the contour of your hands. More buttons allow for greater game control and even more gameplay excitement than ever before. Achieve a level of play never before experienced. I mean, it's a controller. I mean, they're really hyping it up, and that's kind of funny. But you have all the well-known Nintendo logos and stuff that are on the game boxes and everything. I don't have a Super Scope. Don't really have plans to buy it because there's not a lot of games that support it, and I don't own those games. I think the Terminator on Super Nintendo, you could play that with the Super Scope, and I don't have that either. I have it on Genesis and a Justifier gun, I think. Yeah. Plug into the excitement with Super Control. So yeah, there it is, and of course it came with the controller. Super Famicom game, Super Famicom version of Zelda: Link to the Past. There's a few differences in this in the American version, and this comes in like a VHS type box, which is cool. Got it a while back. And the differences, I'm not going to go through again. I forget all of them, so I'm not going to try to remember. But yeah, it's just cool to own it and get it for the price that I did back when I bought it. Just fantastic games. I have some loose Super Famicom games, and I'll show all those and my loose Super Nintendo games in a video coming up soon in HD. That's going to be a long one, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I want to do this one in 4K to show off these, the glorious artwork on these boxes in 4K. So that is the box Super Nintendo controller. Super Nintendo collection. I do own Cool Spot in a near mint box and cartridge copy, and I'll just throw that into the showing of those Super Nintendo games, because this is one of those boxes with some of those games. So again, thank you for watching and subscribing.